Back to the topic, Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Connor Williams, and we're back with another one of our end of season player reviews. This time we're doing it on Mason Holgate, the Everton centre back. We are linked with numerous centre backs this summer. James Tarkowski, as of recording this, will probably be announced in the coming days after I've recorded this. It might, by the time this comes out, already be announced. I believe it's it'll be the 1st of July. Apparently, due to keeping relationship with Burnley, just not wanting to upset Burnley after they've spat their dummy out after being relegated. So apparently, we're not going to announce it till the 1st of July. So if this video's come out after then, he'll be announced. If not, come the 1st of July, we'll have Tarkowski. We're also linked with a couple of other centre backs, and Mbemba being one of them from Porto on a free transfer. So it looks like Everton have highlighted that centre back is an issue. You'd think that means one of these are going, whether it be Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, or Mason Holgate. I personally probably, obviously you've got Godfrey and Branthwaite, but that's still quite young. I don't know if we'd get rid of them. I'd be more inclined to go Holgate or Keane, but due to Yerry Mina obviously being the better defender and therefore getting more money for him, and the fact that he can never stay fit, I think we'll probably see the end of Yerry Mina. But getting back to Mason Holgate, we've got he's played 23, started 23 Premier League games, was subbed in for 2 of them, played 2,134 minutes this season, got 7 yellow cards, 2 goals. He had an XG of 1, so he's performing above his XG. I mean, he is a centre-back though, so he won't get many chances. Goals inside the box, 2. 1 was a header, 1 was a right-footed shot. 3 shots on target, 3 shots off target. So he scored 2 of the 3s had on target. 1 assist, created 3 chances, 843 total passes. Attempted 4 dribbles, was successful in 2 of them. Attempted 35 tackles, successful in 18 of them. 93 clearances and 26 interceptions. I'll head over to FBref now, which compares him to the Premier League and the Premier League centre-backs, compares him versus the rest of the league. So in just in case, this one was always quite interesting, they do similar players. So you've got right up there, you've got Solunchu, Liam Cooper, Michael Keane, Pontus Jansson, who we were linked with, Rob Holding, Raphael Varane. Obviously, this isn't completely, utterly, I'm not saying Mason Holgate's as good as Raphael Varane, and neither is the website. They're just similar traits, similar stats. But I mean, realistically, I think Varane is a better defender than Holgate. But yeah, in terms of his percentile per 90, he's got 0.08 goals per 90, which is way above the average. The average defender that rules the roost with that is surprisingly Nathan Ake. He must play less games. Obviously, this is done via how many games and stuff. Assists 0.04, he's above average as well. We won't go into his shooting because he is a centre-back, so they're all going to look good if he's had 3 shots, because centre-backs shouldn't really be having shots. Passing we'll go into a little bit, because in the modern day, this is quite an important one. So he completes 23.79 passes, a 90, really below the average, as the average is 45. Top of it is Aymeric Laporte. We're not surprised when you're playing a City squad, is it? Passes attempted, again, well below the average. Pass completion is 70.2% per 90. Again, below the average. Laporte just rules the roost in passing. Assists, though, he is above average in assists. Key passes, he's below. Passes into the final third, he's below per 90. Aggressive passes, he's low. His pass types, a lot of dead ball passes, passes from free kicks. They're above average, so he gets a lot of them. Switches is 1.6 per 90. He's above average in switching the ball, which is good to see. Through balls aren't very good, but I don't want a centre-back to be trying to play tight-threaded through balls from the back. That's when you end up getting absolutely pounded by the other team. Yeah, other than that, his passing isn't really brilliant. High passes, he's higher than the average in. Throw-ins taken, he's higher. Nothing really to shout home about. So we'll get on to his defensive ones, because he is a defender. He has 1.86 tackles per 90. That's just above the average. He wins 1.1 of them per 90, which is, again, slightly above average. His tackles in the defensive third, 1.31 per 90. That is well above the average in the Premier League. Dribblers tackled, he's about average for. Dribbles contested, he's average. He's been dribbled past 0.67 times, which is low on the average, which means low as in not good. He gets dribbled past a lot more. Pressures, 9.74 pressures. He's actually quite high up there, higher than the average. Successful ones, he's higher than. He gets 3.29 successful pressures per 90. A lot of them coming in the defensive third. Some of them in the attacking third, more in the attacking, less in the attacking third, a bit in the mid third, more in the defensive third, which isn't really a shock, is it, when you think about where he plays. Interceptions, 1.77, that's below the Premier League average. Clearances is just above the Premier League averages. He's got 0 errors leading to goal, which leading to an opponent's shot, which is really impressive. That's well up there, which is great to see. Connor Cody and Mark Gui also have no errors leading to shots. In possession, he's got 0.8 missed controls per 90, which again works out that he doesn't miscontrol it very often. Fouls drawn, he's quite high. He's above the percentage in fouls drawn, if that matters. And he wins 68.5% per 90 of his aerial duels, which is above the average. So he's okay. I don't think he's as bad. He certainly has improved as the season's gone on slightly. I don't think he's as awful as we all sort of think he is, but I also don't think he's as good as we all thought he would be. I think because we got him from, if I'm not mistaken, Barnsley, the same as John Stones. I think we thought he'd be John Stones' replacement. And I'm not too, I think that sort of early on got him. He's just an okay centre-back. I know Brighton were after him last season. I think in Brighton's system, he'd have done really well. He's just okay. I think the issue with him that a lot of fans get annoyed at is his attitude, chewing gum while he plays football, sort of thing. I'm not that fussed about him chewing gum, as long as obviously there's the safety aspect of it, and you don't want to fall over and choke on your gum. But other than that, I'm not that bothered. I'm bothered when he doesn't play well, obviously, but I don't think that's down to him chewing gum, and the chewing gum doesn't incite me more than anything else. I'm not that fussed. I'm more annoyed when he has a rubbish game and he doesn't look bothered. I know people will say, well, chewing gum doesn't look bothered, but a lot of pros do it. When I play five-a-side, I do it. It's just something to do in the minutes where you're not busy. It's one of them. And to be fair, with the footballers nowadays, you don't know if it's some sort of some supplement gum or something like that. That's not the issue for me. The issue is just dropping clangers. But he doesn't do that as much as people think. I'm looking now. His worst game for us was probably he missed out on. No, he did play that Tottenham game, but it's the Newcastle game that it's got him even worse for. That Tottenham game, that 5-0. A lot of the ones I've done here, you'll be probably watching them go in, and I'll go worst game, and then you'll probably go the Tottenham game, because it is one of the worst ones purely because it was an absolute stinker, wasn't it? But this Newcastle game, this was the one, if I'm not mistaken, he could have got a goal, but Lascelles got the own goal, and then literally a minute later, Mason Holgate repaid the favour by getting his own goal off a Lascelles shot. So it was a bit like he shot, Lascelles deflects, and it's an own goal for Lascelles. Lascelles shoots, it deflects from Holgate, and it's an own goal for Holgate. Which is, package and parcel. But yeah, his stats for that: 1 own goal, 1 shot, which was obviously the one that Lascelles blocked and it went in. His own goal came from a corner. Once again, a bigger problem at stake here at Everton. Our corners are atrocious. 68% accurate passing, 1 shot on target, big chance missed 1, 49 touches, 2 accurate long balls out of 6. He was dispossessed once. Don't really want your centre back to be dispossessed, do you? Only made 1 tackle. He did win it, but only made 1 tackle, 1 clearance, 1 headed clearance, 6 recoveries. He was dribbled past 3 times. Ground duels, he only won 1 of 6. Aerial duels, he only won 2 of 5. and he committed a foul. He got a yellow card. Looking at the formations, he played on the left of a free in the centre-back position, up against Fraser, who, if I remember rightly, was having a bit of fun, and Trippier, who got a stunning free kick goal against us. This was when we played them quite like back to back. It was a tough game that to watch. Obviously, we had injuries very early on that I think went against us as well. Gray and Mina went off, which again highlights what I've just said about Yerry Mina and his injury record. But yeah, that was probably Holgate's worst one. It just wasn't a great showing. Not just the own goal, because the own goals, someone will say, are unlucky. He just wasn't at the races that day. The next one would have been the 5-0 Tottenham, which I've done that game for several other players, so I don't really want to look back on that. We'll go with his best game, end on a high. There's a few where he's played okay. West Ham 2-1, he played all right. Leeds 3-0. Leicester 2-1 win over Leicester, he played all right. I mean, Crystal Palace game 3-2, it was very, very good. We'll go through that one. This one fans will absolutely love, just because of what it is. He played the full 90, got 1 assist, made 57% of his passes accurate, 17 out of 30 of them were accurate, created 1 chance, 43 touches, 4 out of 9 of his long balls were accurate. He only won 1 of 5 tackles, 20% of them, which is a bit poor. Made 6 clearances, 4 headed, 1 interception, 1 recovery. He won all of his ground duels, 6 out of 6 ground duels, 9 out of 10 aerial duels, was fouled once, committed 0 fouls. That was probably his best game, in all honesty. Followed up from that would probably be the Leicester away game, which again was a great game for Everton and like the club and the fans as well. That was the one where the fans were singing Spirit of the Blues and just weren't going to go home, and Leicester police had to ask them very nicely, please go home. In that game, he got a goal, which obviously boosted his rating up as well. Other than the goal, he had 13 out of 17 accurate passes, which is all right. His shots, he had 1 out of 2 on target, 25 touches, 2 out of 3 long balls, was not dispossessed. He won 0 tackles, but I don't think he attempted any either. Made 3 clearances, 3 headed clearances, 1 interception and 2 recoveries. The tackles one I'm not bothered about. If it was tackles attempted, 5 and he'd won none, that's fine. But the fact he's not attempted them, I think it's Maldini always says, you've made a mistake. I think Maldini was it that said, when you've made a mistake when you have to tackle. Ground duels 1, 0. He didn't attempt any. Aerial duels 2 out of 3 of them won. It was a really solid game from him. He's partnered up with Yerry Mina, who once again went off injured 18 minutes in, and Michael Keane came on and had an all right game as well. It was the Iwobi, it was a 5-back with Mikolenko scoring that wonderful goal. Iwobi getting an assist. It was a good game, that really good result for us. Away from home as well, absolutely unheard of at Everton, so it was really great to see. But yeah, my overall thoughts and feelings on Holgate, I don't think he's as bad as we'd like to make out. I don't think he's, I don't think he's as bad. I don't think he's, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's, Maldini-esque, but he's not as bad as we make out. He's just steady. I think he's a solid 6 out of 10 every game sort of player, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 every game, 7 out of 10 on good days. He's not the calamity. He's not a massive calamity. He's not. I've seen worse centre backs at Everton, and I've seen worse centre backs in the Premier League. So I think he's just a solid player. Whether he moves in the summer is yet to be seen. I think if he goes to Brighton, he could have a really nice career at Brighton, do really well there. But I don't know if they'll put their interest again. We'll have to wait and see. The club look like they need to be selling to spend. Prime Mishiri himself is looking to sell. So it's a bit of uncertainty. I don't know how that's going to affect everything. But Holgate this season out of 10, I'd probably give him about a 6. Yeah, about a 6. He's done all right. He's just, done all right. I think that's the fairest reflection I can give him. But yeah, that's all I've got time for on Mason Holgate. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and comment down below your thoughts on Mason Holgate's season at Everton, not his career. Let me know your score out of 10. Let me know, would you look to sell him? Would you look to sell him in the summer? Let me know all that down below, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.